Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Auto Transport Intel. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. It is Thursday. It is noon Central Time. That means it's time for Dispatching Live, where we look at the load boards. We talk about what it's like to be a dispatcher, working with carriers, being in the family, learning all about this, right? What is dispatching? Why is it so hard? Are you serious? You do a 90-minute show every Thursday about dispatching? How hard can it be? Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to talk about all those things. Do me a favor. If this show benefits you, please do leave a like, and you can click share, click copy, grab that YouTube link. If you're just lost in car shipping in general, maybe you're moving, maybe you're starting up a business, maybe somebody said, hey, this is going to be easy. Just jump right in. We'll do this. Go to autotransportintel.com, click on sign up. Become an ATI insider. You know, I see I get the YouTube comments about, okay, I got questions about dispatching. There's two main comments I see around dispatching. One is, I want to get into dispatching, I'm looking for training, or I'm looking for a dispatcher, I'm a carrier, can you hook me up? And so both of those questions apply to this show, and you can jump in the live chat. Oh, there's Murphy Auto Transport, there's John Cochran, there's Carlos Braxton. What is going on, guys? Thanks so much for tuning in and saying hello. We do appreciate it. We also know that, and David Two Bears is here. What's going on? We know that as the show goes on, more people jump in, they start watching. There's people that watch on demand, there's people that watch live, and so you don't have to say anything. Just kick back and enjoy the show. If you are in dispatching, you know that most everything we say here is the absolute God's honest truth. And so, if you know somebody in a corner office that's like, what? Why didn't you just book the good loads? Well, go ahead, and this is the perfect time to send them the link. I'll share it again. Click share, click copy, and send this YouTube link. Dude, the subject of your email will be, dude, this job's painful. Give me some help here. Hey, what's up, Glam fam? I have questions. Awesome. So glad. Gerard is here. What is going on, Gerard? Thank you guys so much. Let's do this. Let's say hello to Sue, my co-host. Sue, can you see me and hear me okay?
I can. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I think I'm on dispatch fire. Are you in the office? Oh, yeah. Yeah. What's going on
in the office?
What is going on in the office today? Yeah.
It's kind of slow today. We've got everybody loaded, surprisingly.
Really?
I mean, actually, we ran the loads here for last week and this week. Okay, so last week we were at 41,510. We're at 41,886 today. So it went up 300. So I think it's been bouncing back and forth. It was a struggle in the beginning of the week, but honestly, I think the reason why we've had an easier time getting everybody home is because a lot of people are already home. So there's loads on the board to get everybody, because a lot of people take off for the next 2 weeks. It's Christmas and New Year's. I've got half of my guys are taking off, half are going to be on the road. So I imagine that goes pretty consistently with everybody else out there. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that means we'll be able to, pick and choose really good loads the way we want to for the next 2 weeks, but we'll see what happens.
Well, it's weird. Number one, everything you said just runs contrary to my whole setup. My setup was like, this is really hard, and you're like, nah, I'm all booked. Actually, I you know what? It's funny. I worked with a guy that was always booked and watching movies, and I'm like, I'm freaking out. I'm all stressed out, sweating, making phone calls, and he's kicked back watching movies. I'm like, do we live in two different universes? Yeah, but I'm used to that. That's actually, that's why I started Auto Transport Intel, because I'm used to living in this, multiverse of seeing all the problems, and everybody else saying, nah, I'm good. But also, we know that in auto transport, it's not all good. There's about a jillion problems, which is why I don't understand the infighting. The carriers hate the brokers. Everybody hates the dispatchers, and so anyways, and the audio's good. Thank you, Glam fan. So I will say this though, 41,000. What? That is crazy. It's December.
That is crazy. Yeah. That's
But
more like what 15 to 13,000 right about now normally is what this is.
oh my gosh, yeah.
So,
Normally you're dying for it,
yeah.
which makes no sense. I mean, but now do the rates reflect the volume?
No.
You'd think the rates would be up, right?
No, I mean, no. I mean, you know how it is. In certain places where it's cheap, it's always going to be cheap. The only time that wasn't cheap was when COVID was we were in the middle of COVID, and you know, there wasn't any drivers on the road. They didn't have a choice. Like Houston, we all know Houston is cheap, cheap, cheap. And during COVID, we had like loads that were paying $1 a mile out of Houston. You never see that. It's just like when we were looking at California way back in the day.
Yeah.
We had stuff for $1 a mile, and that never happens. Florida was the same way.
Oh my
So
gosh,
we're back to what I would consider average.
those Florida shows we did where it was insane.
Yes.
That was nuts.
Insane.
That was
Yes.
totally nuts.
And now look at them. 25
Cheap,
cents, 30
cheap,
cents
cheap,
a mile
cheap.
to go in there right now.
Oh man. Yeah, that's cheap, 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 cheap. That's good.
Anyways.
That's good.
So,
I like it. Well done.
I have my little birdie one.
Yeah.
Anyways, so, but, you know, we have 41,000 loads on the board. It doesn't mean that it makes it easier or better. It just means there's 41,000 loads on the board.
Oh, right.
Granted, I will say it's not like the normal December, like where you're just like literally like, oh my God, I got to take this just to move my guy. Otherwise he's sitting. There are loads on here, and they're decent loads. I'm not going to say they're outrageous loads, but they're decent loads.
Well, if you're
even
already,
my 3 cars.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying,
My
if you're
3
already
cars have been
booked,
averaging anywhere between 5 and 7 a week. Is what they've been averaging, which is good money.
Sue doesn't just book to break even.
No.
Right?
I'm booking. Yeah, I'm booking over.
You're in business.
Always. What's
here.
the point, right?
This is a business. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. We got to make money otherwise. And honestly, this is what I always tell them. If you're not making money, I'm not making money. So we're going to make money together here and make this work.
Exactly.
So,
this isn't a bus stop.
No. So, and
right now somebody's at a bus stop like, what's wrong with bus stops?
And I'm sure that's why we don't get a lot of asked questions about what, you know, where should we look for loads and stuff, because there's loads on here. I've noticed, though, I've had a lot of newbies coming out of the woodwork, like brand new carriers asking me for loads.
Newbie
rating.
Carriers. Okay.
Yes.
Which would match.
I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah, tell me a story.
I had a guy call me for a load. It was just going from Minneapolis to Baltimore, Maryland. It was like 50 miles. So and in my contract, it states you have to use a bill of lading. So he's like, calls me up and he's like, I don't have a bill of lading. I said, well, you have to. That's the law. You have to have them for, I think it's 6 months, right, Jay? You have to have your bills of lading for at least 6 months, maybe a year. It might be a year. Anyways, and I said, you have to use a bill of lading. Otherwise, you're going to get, you know, beat up with claims. And I said, you got to have them sign on pickup, sign on delivery. And he's like, I am so glad I talked to you. I didn't know this stuff. And I'm like, you know, I told him to use Super Dispatch, you know, EBOS system. It's way easier and blah, 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 blah. And he did it all right. He sent me all the right stuff. And he's like, I'm not in this business to screw up. I'm brand new, but I want to make a living out of this. And I want to do it the right way from the beginning. I'm like, well, cool. Because most people are like, whatever, you know, and they just do their own thing. And so I was impressed with that. And then I had another one the other day that just canceled, didn't call me and tell me anything with 1 rating. And I'm like, this is not the way you do business. And they wanted me they sent me a text at 9:00 at night saying, can you let me know how late the dealership is open for pickup and if they'll leave it out? I mean, you all know me. I don't answer texts after a certain time, so I didn't. And they just canceled the load because they didn't do their due diligence, which calling and, you know, doing what they're supposed to do. So you have it both ways. And I've noticed that, and I've noticed a plethora of new dispatchers. In fact, some of my dispatchers are getting those same text messages.
That's what I thought you were going to say when you said newbies. Okay, so we got more dispatchers and more new carriers.
Yes.
Let's go with, so I always like to say, where'd you get that idea? Where do you think everybody's getting the idea to get an auto transport and to become a dispatcher? Where are they getting the idea?
I think we're probably helping a little bit with that because
Yeah,
I've
but if
had
they
several say they've seen us. But yeah, I
okay,
know
but
we're
then you
not saying
would
it's easy.
well then you that's right.
Yeah,
Number one, you would know that we say it's not easy, and number two, we
yeah,
would say there's a lot to know. Don't just jump
yeah.
right in. Don't spam. Don't
Right,
cancel. Don't book and cancel. Don't
right.
I don't know. But I guess
Yeah,
what
I don't know. I don't know
I
either.
don't know. It's weird. Isn't that
I mean,
I'll never figure it
what
out.
makes you decide to
So
just
so
randomly do it?
now we're part of the problem, Sue.
Yeah. Well, I have a
So,
feeling we may have
oh,
something to do with it, only because
what?
I mean,
Sue.
when I first started this, okay, well, slap me. But anyways, when I first started this, there wasn't hardly anybody doing this. You know what I mean?
Well,
And then now in the last, I'm going to say last year and a half, they're just everybody. Like we're constantly getting emails, we're constantly getting phone calls, we're constantly the drivers are getting the notices and they don't know what they're doing either. I mean,
but
that's the crazy part.
well, here's the thing: is if you look at the numbers, like what
Mm-hmm.
bothers me is not only that people say you can get rich overnight and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but then then there's the narrative nobody books like I do. Like, oh,
Uh,
r-
yeah,
really? It's the same load
yeah,
board, man. You're making the same
yeah,
freaking phone calls, dude.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
whether or not you're how. It's really a matter of how desperate are you, right?
Well,
That's
yeah.
your that's how you
Well,
know what you're how well you're negotiating. How desperate are you?
right.
You ever played
Well,
poker and you're desperate for chips?
yeah,
Same
yeah,
thing. Yeah. It's
yeah.
awful.
Well, and some of these dispatchers that have come across, and it's not everybody. Like I say, dispatchers are not created equally, obviously. But them to profess that they're going to make you X amount of money every week and guarantee
Oh.
you that is a
Well then
bunch of bull.
okay, well I'm gonna say the desperation is high. If you're
Is
making
that?
the more promises you're making, the more desperate you
Well,
probably are.
yes. And that's when someone as a transporter, but see, I think they get the new transporters who believe this stuff. Anybody that's been in the business, and if they heard somebody saying,
Yeah.
like, I guarantee you this, guarantee you that, you should step away, walk away right then and there. But I think somebody new,
I
somebody
know.
new that's getting into this business that thinks that they're going to make millions of dollars because they've watched all these YouTube videos probably would believe that person because they've watched these YouTube videos. So why wouldn't they make that kind of money? You know what I mean? It's not true, but yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
what's up, John? John is ringing the super chat cowbell. Thank you so much, John Cochran. John's got some photos of his loads he has shared. We'll bring
Hey,
those up here in a bit. Generation change in trucking is part of the change in new guys. Yeah, see, okay. I'm not
yeah,
so
that's
sure we're
true.
so responsible for,
No,
yeah, right? And
it's
I
not
don't
all of it.
actually, in no. Well, if you look at the numbers, I mean, which we get like the lowest numbers in the entire industry. Like you can have like a guy at a bus stop talking about getting rich with your pickup
Yeah,
truck and like the views are
right,
through the roof.
right,
Whereas we do
right.
this show every week and we get like 30 views. Like at this point, I've given up on the whole like YouTube views thing. I don't think I care anymore. I mean, I talk about it and obviously I look at it, but there's something messed up with the YouTubeometer because like according to I mean it says we have 12 watching right now. That accounts for everybody that said hello in the live chat. So I don't know what's going on.
Oh, we should discuss
I
what
really don't.
Glam Fam just put on
What's
here
Glam Fan got?
because we have discussed this before.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Yeah, I mean, and a good point. This is what we're talking about. And that's the thing, I try not to name names because it is if I don't know if I have enough time, and I don't want to make that many enemies. But yeah, take it away. Talk about it.
So we've discussed this before about Reload Geek and the thing that she's selling, the $1,800 course. And it's about being a broker, I believe, is what she's teaching you, not about dispatching. Being a
No.
broker is not hard to figure out. No. So I don't know what they're offering that's going to show you more, but being a broker, obviously, I'm going to be honest. It's harder to be a broker than it is a dispatcher because dispatching, you can find a truck and a trailer and get yourself going right away. Being a broker is going to take you a long time to make money, to get the clientele, to work your way up. So if she's showing you how to do that, which I'm sure is probably buying leads and stuff like that, or going
Well,
to
that's the thing.
dealerships.
That's the thing. Okay, yeah. I want to try and I
Go
want
for
to
it.
try. Okay, okay. Um, what are you paying for? I mean, I know that there's
Yes.
money associated with learning, but and like I did the dispatching training series. It's all The thing is, I know, like we all have to make money somehow. I get
Right.
it. But what are
Right.
you paying for? Because the thing is, that's just the beginning of the money you're going to have to spend to build your business.
Right.
You're going to be, because I'm pretty sure
Right.
buying leads is on the menu. Okay, so you're going to be buying
Mm-hmm.
leads. And I pulled up a lead provider site the other day, and there was the first three categories of leads were all like leads everybody else gets, and the new leads were really
Right.
expensive. So I
Right.
think you're going to need some of that money for some of those expensive new leads. But be that
Yes.
as it may, let's go back to where'd you get that idea? I know we're all
Yeah.
trying to find our place in the world. We are. That's why we have new dispatchers, new carriers, there's new cashiers, there's people driving Ubers, there's people making YouTube videos. I mean, you got to find your place in the world. But what are you paying that money for?
Yeah.
To get told you're going to need a website? I mean, don't you already know that? Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna get juiced into some of the things you're gonna need to build your business. But what if you just talk to other brokers? And what if they actually said, "Don't do it"? Is some of the money you're paying for the course going to maybe this isn't for you? Because if
Right.
the course is 100% for everybody 100% of the time, I think the cost should be lower. But again, I don't
Yeah.
want to get into her business model or somebody else's business model, but I am asking the question: where'd you get that idea, and what are you paying that money for? What's that money get you?
Yeah,
I don't
I'd be
know.
curious as to where people decide to be dispatcher too. I mean, I know how I ended up being a dispatcher, but if I hadn't known, like if I hadn't already been in the business doing it for the guy that came in and talked to me and said, let's start a business, which was not my idea at all. It was his. How do you even know that there is such a thing unless you're watching YouTube videos or you've talked to a transporter or something like that? I'm kind of curious about that too.
I'll tell you what. Let's go even further. I'm going to try and be helpful
Hey,
because
Danny.
what I don't want to do is I am trying to help create an inclusive auto transport ecosystem. So I don't want to like
Okay.
immediately
Well, the Glam
identify
fam
everybody
kind
as.
of,
But well, here's what I want to say to Glam Fan.
well, she
Why do
said
you
what
think
they're
you'll
doing.
be successful as an auto
Yeah.
transport broker? Where did you get that idea? Because if you don't, I mean, here's my guess. Here's my hope.
Okay.
My hope is you are already connected to automotive somehow, or you love cars,
Mm-hmm.
or you love sales, or you love talking to people. Because you're going to be nonstop selling your business. This can't be
Mm-hmm.
part time. We're speaking in general. And that thing is, I'm sure there's information in there that's going to be helpful. But can you get a taste of it before you sign on the dotted line?
Mm-hmm.
I think you probably can. Here's the thing. Here's why I'm talking like this. I'm gonna explain why I'm talking like this. It worries me all the people that think, oh, there's my audio. Mic check 1 2. It worries me all the people that think that there's a place for them to get wealthy in this business. And by the way, that's another thing that I actually don't like. Is I don't like some of the advertising of people on escalators getting into Porsches and buying Gucci. If that's part of your advertising, that concerns me. Like on a Nike commercial, they show people running. Okay, good, because that's what you're going to do with the product. But if the Nike commercial showed people like eating sushi and caviar and sitting on ships like on the French parfums ads and stuff, that bothers me. So if the advertising doesn't reflect the way you use the product, I'm already concerned. Okay. Somebody else, please.
Okay. So the Glam fam says the uncles are in the business, so I'm around it. So that explains
Good.
that.
Okay, good. That's good. That is good.
And then she said she will show me how to talk to the customers, leads to purchase, give her connections, some document packets she has, etc.
Okay, that's good too.
Well, so I don't know if that's worth $1,800 though.
That's the
Do you think it's worth
problem.
18?
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why the price is so high. But again, I
It
understand
seems awfully high.
we all have our place
Have
in
to make a living.
we
Yes.
do. We
Yeah.
all have to make a living. But
Yeah.
that is, and here's I think is the problem. When you look at Shark Tank, I know this. This is why I
Mhm.
don't charge for my dispatching training series, because a business that's worth investing in is scalable. Auto
Right.
Transport Intel is not scalable.
Right.
So it's a YouTube channel, and the way I make my money is it's an advertising based model. I don't charge any of the viewers or the users or whoever. I'm getting
Right.
money from people that want to be a part of something great.
Right.
But the thing is,
Right.
if it's not scalable, then your cost per unit has to be higher because you're not selling that many units a month. And
Right.
that, and again, I've gone way too far with my speculation on this suit.
Well, that part makes sense because if say she only had one customer, that's $1,800 for a whole month of, and that's not enough to live on. So I get that part of it. I myself would not pay that. I mean, I don't know if you're getting that much for what you're paying. Let's put it that way.
Well,
'Cause a lot of the stuff that in brokerage you can find out without doing that.
That's the thing.
I mean,
Well,
even-
that's the thing. Okay, ask the question. I mean, Sue, how
Leads
many?
you
How
can go
about this?
find
Let's
on
do it
your
this
own.
way. How many
Yeah.
auto transport
Okay.
brokers are there already in the United States?
Well, what did they say the other day when
Is
we
it
were looking that up?
1,000?
How many thousands?
Is it 1,000?
Yeah, we're in the
Okay.
thousands.
So,
Yeah.
okay, let's say $1,800 is fine. Are you ready to
Yeah.
compete with 1,000 other companies in the United
Right.
States?
There you go. Yeah. That's just it. You're right. So even if she shows you everything, because for example, Ty sent me a lady that was trying to be a broker. She called me up. I explained, I gave her some of my contracts and stuff like that to help her. She called me a few months later and said she was having a hard time. And I had told her from the beginning, and I think Ty did too, that this isn't something you get into and you're going to get money right away. This is something you're building. And it's when you have that much competition, you're building for a long time to get to where they're at. And 6 months later, I think she called me and said she was having a hard time. And I was talking to her about it. And I said, well, what about your website? And she was, well, I shut my website off. I'm like, well, you have to have a website because you have to take those people to the website to get the quotes. And I said, and then on top of that, whether your website is good, bad, or ugly, if you have a website, for some people, if it's on the internet, it's true, right? So they want that to look at you and see what you do and how you do it and how you present yourself. And the first thing I told her to do is go turn back on your website. I don't know if she was just paying too much for it. It's not that expensive. It's about $300 a year is all it is. So I have a website no matter what you do. And because that's where you're going to drive your customers to get quotes for. And she took it away. So I don't know, what she thought was going to happen if she did that. So I haven't heard from her since then, unfortunately, and I don't know how she's doing, but I know she only had a couple customers, and like there you go, a couple customers isn't going to pay your bills.
Well, and not to mention, you have to pay the driver before the customer ever pays you, and yeah, I mean it really
Exactly.
is. It's pretty crazy the amount of time
Yes.
you have to wait, the stress,
In
and
between.
plus, oh my gosh, all the time per phone call. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Because that customer expects you to be a roommate during the shipment,
right?
Don't they?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they want to know where it's at, where they're at, and everything.
They want to call
else.
you in the middle of the night.
And,
oh, I'm so worried about my
yeah.
car. Do you think it's okay?
Yes.
Because that's the world
exactly.
we live in.
Yeah.
And I want to say this too.
That's why I said being a broker is harder.
We're going to
really
shift.
is.
I know another
Make it
broker. We're going to shift it because I never want to put too much shade on too much light on one shade. Whatever. There's another broker that does a lot of advertising and videos and saying things like, "This is a great time to become a broker." And I'm thinking, why would you say that? What do you mean it's a great time to become a? That's
Yeah.
YouTube advertising. What
Correct.
do you
Yeah.
mean it's a great time to be a broker? What makes it a
Yeah.
great time versus not a great time? Can I see that video? This is not a good time to become a broker.
Right.
That's a video I want to watch.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And there's two.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know about being a broker for freight. It may be easier than a broker for auto transport. I don't know the other
But
side
it
of that
can't
part.
be. You're up
I don't think
against.
it can be either.
It
So,
can't be. I look at it like the legal world. Okay,
uh-huh.
there's about a jillion attorneys at the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
No, there's
Right.
about a jillion attorneys. Okay, and each single attorney is in competition with all other attorneys. If you are
Right.
just starting out as a broker, you're not only up against 1,000 other companies, but you're up against some gigantic companies.
Yeah.
Companies that
Yeah.
right have a staff that can eat your lunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now that I've properly scared everybody, and we're back we're down to 0 viewers. Good deal. Oh my gosh. Oh, now hey, we have a special guest. Brian Riker's going to join us, and this is actually good. I like that we're talking about kind of the meat of the problem, which is the kind of the musical chairs and the money. Musical chairs and the money. Brian's going to join us in about 5 or 10 minutes because you actually have a brokering. You got an email with a brokering Sue, tell us what.
Well,
without naming names,
okay.
What is going on?
Not naming names, but it rhymes with no, leave it alone. Anyways.
Oh God.
Anyways, so Jen tried to get a load for one of our big car haulers. We got a 9-car. She called for a load that was listed on Central Dispatch. She's texting him because, of course, they didn't answer the phone. Texting him, and he's saying, "Okay, I'm going to give you this load. You got to use the app for the load." And he says it's the if I say that, you guys don't know who it is. So let's just say that we had to use an app. So she's like, she looks at me and she's like, "Sue, I think this guy."
Right. Okay. Wait. So wait. Let me. Okay. Let me just make sure I got you. So you're booking a load, and the broker says you have to use this specific app. But it's not his app, is it?
Yes. No. And it's a specific app for a really huge broker that's out of Arizona. Right. Okay. We'll just leave it like that.
All right. All right.
Anyways. So
carrier.
So
do you know that he's a carrier at this point or no?
Yeah. At this point in time, Jen clicks on it and it's a carrier. So
carrier.
We're like, we're both sitting here talking, and she's like, I think he's taken these loads off of the load board for this big broker, listed them on Central, and is selling them for less. And I said, that sounds exactly what it is. So Jen called the big broker and told them what was going on. At first, I don't think he believed her because I'm like, we wouldn't lie about this. Why would we even lie about this, right? And just so you know, to use the app, you have to be a member of this company, and you have to do it under their company, like the transporter's name that he's trying to sell it to us for.
Is the dispatch sheet in the app? Wouldn't you see the original price? No. No?
Well, no, because from the app, I don't think you can access it. You can do it from the load board, but I don't have his username and password.
You can't see the dispatch sheet in the... okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we call the big broker, and the big broker, after Jen sends them all the photos, and by the way, it's not just this load, it's a couple different loads. And we're talking to this big broker, and they're like, oh my God, yes, these are our loads. And this guy's already marked them delivered on his load board. Obviously, he never has. He marked them delivered so he could keep the loads and sell them out to somebody else, is what it amounts to. And he was a transporter. And not a big transporter, by the way. So we went round and round with them, sending them all these pictures of these loads, which Jay has as well, which I think he's going to show you, but just taking out the pictures of who they are. Then I also contacted somebody from the company as well to tell them what was going on. So they're looking into it, as they said. And that's one of the things we're going to discuss is the response I got from the big brokers rep, shall we say, as to what is going on. So this happened to me a few years ago with United Road. So I can say that because this happened a while back. This is another big carrier, but this this company, this transporter is huge. Let's say majorly huge, like running the shit in this whole world. They are running this, okay?
Right. We're talking major, major, major. Okay, so
Major.
here's the. Okay, so this transporter is listing. Oops. Oh, it says the cars.
Oh,
And
yep.
obviously we know you can't fight it in the negative ratings. So this is auto transport. Apparently you can do whatever you want, even if you're a giant company. Brian, can you hear us? Okay.
Yes, I can. Good afternoon, Jay. Hi, Sue.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, hey.
Wonderful.
Awesome. All right, so we're only going to keep you for 10 to 15 minutes. So here's the question. All right. All right. If you're just tuning in, we're 30 minutes into the show. Thank you so much. Okay. There's a major broker with their own load board and mobile app, and a carrier has booked some loads and is now brokering those to other carriers. Sue lets the big broker know that this guy is doing this, and what do they say?
Well, he said he was going to suspend them. They were never going to be able to haul for him again. But then I contacted my contact, and then you got the email that said they're not allowed to do it, but then said we do let them do it. So it was a contradiction of whatever should have been said, and we were both going, what the hell happened here? Should not be happening.
Yes, I saw that email, and
Yes.
this particular broker we're talking about, they don't have any special agreement that allows them to extend their broker authority to their carriers or anything like that. So if a carrier is taking a load from this broker and then is not hauling it on their own trucks under their own DOT number, they would be double brokering it out to somebody else,
Right.
which we know is not a legal practice, not a liked practice even, but it happens often. Now,
Right.
if we want to get into some of the more gray areas, if that carrier also happen to have broker authority, they may be legal to rebroker that load, but it's still not always ethical. And this particular large broker you're speaking about, I know that for some of their more dedicated work, a carrier can bid on an entire lane and get everything in that lane, and it doesn't even go to the broker board. In that case, this particular broker has authorized those carriers to use subcontractors, but that carrier must have broker authority to do that. That's in their agreement. I've seen their written agreement for that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's where it depends. They may be authorized comes from.
Right.
A lot of
Right.
inbound work to a certain auction is bid on, we're going to hand you 10,000 cars in these two states over the next 365 days. You give us a flat dollar amount and then you figure out how to get it here type of deal, just like new freight is handled. And so that's where it may be authorized to rebroker it came from. But that still doesn't mean that carrier can, and we've done it. In the years past, this used to be called interlining. As long as they were another authorized carrier, I could give them the work and they could move it for me. And it wasn't even illegal until probably 6 or 7 years ago. I think it was with the MAP 21 change. I didn't get to look this up last night like I had planned to. But it wasn't even illegal until just a couple years ago. But the bottom line is it is today. So for all you legacy carriers that have been doing it this way for 20 or 30 years like I had, you can't do it this way anymore. You have to have broker authority to give your work to somebody else. And this is why the Transportation Intermediary Association is on top of dispatchers and up their butt, because TIA believes it's only the dispatchers that are doing this type of stuff, taking stuff off a broker board and then trying to find carriers for it. And they're not. Motor carriers make these same type of deals every day. And the bottom line is we're not allowed to do it by current regulations.
I shut it off.
I put up.
So.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Well, so basically, when I looked this company up, they shouldn't have been doing it. They don't have a broker authority.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay.
So now what you can do with that, Sue? But I caution you, because it could turn negative and ugly for you. What you can do with that is you can take that particular motor carrier that was brokering loads without authority, obviously report them to the load board. They should be suspended from that load board forever and ever, amen, because they're violating the terms of agreement on a load board. But you also can report that to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. They have a portal, the National Consumer Complaint Database. So you'll probably never hear back from FMCSA. They don't give you a follow-up that we're investigating or anything. Sometimes they take action, sometimes they don't. But stuff like that, if we make enough of a squeaky wheel with FMCSA about it, and with this current petition from TIA to get broker and dispatchers and carriers authorities and roles more clearly defined, maybe FMCSA will take some action on it.
Yes, because I mean, honestly, I turn in people all the time because of it, because I don't think it's right for them to be listing loads like that. But you know as well as I do, I never hear back from them FMCSA ever, never have. And I've been doing it for years, but they still do it. So yeah, I mean, it's not on their priority list.
You know what though? You know who would care, Sue? And I don't know how you coordinate this. Insurance companies would care, because insurance companies are the ones that have to deal with the fallout after there's been 3 illegal carrier broker deals. Everything flips over. There's Ferraris all over the road. The insurance companies care.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I don't know how to report that. I mean, their insurance carrier is a matter of public record. You know how to look that up. You do that every day. I just don't know how to report it. The other thing to think here, and I know why this infuriates you, because you've jumped through all the hoops and hurdles to have your broker authority, have your bond, have everything in place like you should. And so this is an unfair, and this is why brokers get a bad name. I hear a lot of crap for defending brokers, but this is exactly why brokers get a bad name, because it's the illegitimate folks that are causing the problem, double or triple brokering loads. So yeah, this is a huge problem. If we're going to play by the rules, then we all need to play by the same rules, and then let our talent and our business acumen decide whether we fail or succeed.
And the comedy routine is the carrier in this example, and in many examples on prior shows, the carrier is the one illegally brokering, but it's always the dispatcher that gets blamed. That is amazing.
Exactly.
What a scam. I mean, wow. It was the dispatcher.
Yep.
And I just want to apologize for if I've gone too far with this scam notification. Then I just apologize in general, and waivers and this and that. But it doesn't make any sense. How do we blame the dispatcher for everything we do wrong when we lie on our taxes and we speed? Guess who did it? It was the dispatcher.
It's always the dispatcher's fault.
Always the dispatcher. And ultimately, okay, so here's the takeaway, Brian, Sue, in this example is, A, everybody lies on their taxes and we're always going to bail out the banks, so there's nothing you can do about this brokering problem. Or B, what?
Depends on how much effort you want to put into this and how much disruption it's causing your business. I mean, you can find a lobbyist to do anything. You could lobby Congress, you could lobby FMCSA, you could be that squeaky pain in their butt squeaky wheel until they take action. But I can tell you right now, FMCSA is not even sure if they should continue regulating brokers, because it's not a direct safety issue. Broker regulation is a holdover from the Interstate Commerce Commission days, and it doesn't actually align with their mission of safety in the trucking industry, outside of making sure that whoever's responsible for giving the load out is supposed to be picking competent truck companies to avoid the consequences of negligent hiring. But even there, that doesn't happen all that often, the negligent hiring claim. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 2 or 3 years we see FMCSA say we no longer regulate brokers at all, and it becomes a free-for-all.
Which in fact is what it already is. But I mean, that would actually, because it's not a safety issue. See, now that I can get on board with, because that's logical.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. We can't put logic in a government agency together.
Jay, come on now. Some could argue we've never had logic. I mean, what's the logic behind, shipper says to broker, I thought you had GPS tracking, and it's a picture of of Cypher, the driver, throwing his phone in the trash. Where's the logic?
Yeah.
You want it to YouTube?
Such a fun show. All right, well,
yes.
Hey, Brian. So, what's on your agenda, Brian? What do you do? So you're traveling again? You're delivering a truck?
Yes, I'm on a corner. Literally, I'm standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona right now. And I'll be in Northern California tomorrow afternoon. I'll be back in Chicago Saturday, back home in Pennsylvania Sunday, Long Island Monday or Tuesday, and then Ohio by Wednesday, and back home for Christmas Eve. I have 3 more trucks to deliver between now and Christmas to play Santa Claus.
Oh, awesome.
Do you wear the hat? You have the fuzzy trim? Right? You should do that. Hey.
I should do that for you for next Wednesday, Jay.
Amazing. And get a picture of you in the hat. He's like, man, come on, man. I just want to deliver a truck. Do I have to wear the hat? It says in the broker's agreement on page 16, you must wear the hat.
Yes.
John's like, hey, I got that agreement. Well, Brian, we sure do appreciate your input today.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, guys. Talk to you later.
Okay, man.
All right,
care.
have a Merry Christmas.
Yep. Yes,
Thank
happy
you. You
holidays.
Too, yes.
Right,
Bye-bye.
All right. Hey, just post another actual pickup, actual delivery. They'll be spraying champagne in the cubicles. No dispatchers allowed when spraying champagne. That should be it's probably a sign. No dispatchers allowed when spraying champagne. We'll get to Larry in a bit. Do you offer dispatch training? Showed that. See, I started with this. You would think that all you need to know is which phone number you need to call, book it, get rich, and, celebrate Christmas. Is that all there is to it? Is that it?
They have more there. Tell them to switch you out one. Sorry.
Carriage, we hear you. What does it say? When calling, please listen closely.
Yes.
That's okay. Am I missing something?
No, they've just changed their numbers for getting. It hasn't helped us, I'll be honest, because I don't know if anybody else knows, but
I should have asked.
It's hard to get through to them.
So what?
Because we always have to do the chat. We were on chat for over an hour and a half the other day. We were number 18. And just I don't know if everybody knew, but the Metro board went down. Was it yesterday or the day before? Day before. It wasn't working correctly, so you had to get on their chat board because no loads would come up. They said they were there, they weren't there, back and forth. So chat was the only way to get hold of them. And like I said, we went at an hour and a half for just one chat line.
Well, why didn't you? But Sue, but why didn't you just call?
Because that didn't work either.
What? So. But we told you, but Sue, we told you, here's the phone number. Why not just call? Sue.
Yep. It's the dispatcher's fault.
It was the dispatcher. Oh no. We're back to this. What's an average broker make yearly? Is there an answer for that? That's a really good question. Is there an answer? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I really don't. I don't know either. I don't consider myself an average broker either. I'm on the small end of that. So
what do you think it should? All right, let's try to. All right, let's put away the comedy tools. What do you think the answer? What do you think? All right, let's do it this way. What do you think that answer is being advertised as? $100,000?
Yeah. I'd say. 100
Is that?
grand.
Do you think you
I
can
don't
make
believe
100?
it.
Can you net? By the way, oh, this is another one. I don't know why. There's no YouTube video for this. Here's your gross. This is the total revenue, and here's your net. That's what you're actually going to take home. And then take half of your net, and that goes to taxes. So you're left with N. You're left with a little N down here at the bottom. That's what you're actually going to make. Anyways, let's go back to gross. What are you going to gross? What's your total revenue before expenses that you're actually going to pull in a year, your first year as a broker? Is it 100,000? Yes, it is 6 figures. Okay, so Glam Fan, ask yourself this. How are you going to pull in 6 figures as a broker your first year? Because you don't know anybody, right? You're buying leads. Are you really going to gross 100 grand in a year buying leads? Maybe. I don't know. Okay, but
That's gross.
But it's advertised as 6 figures. Okay, fair enough. So if it's advertised, which is what I figured.
Yeah.
And by the way, there are, man, take your pick. You can spin the wheel of YouTubers telling you you're going to get rich. So it isn't just 1, it isn't just 5. I'm sure it's, I don't know. That's up here in the gross number of 100,000 YouTubers. But anyways, let's say you happen to gross 100,000. You work like crazy. You don't even see the sun for a whole year. What after you pay your carriers and all that stuff, you pay your carriers, you pay your leads, you pay your fees, you got some jail time in there, whatever it is, and then after taxes, what were you left with? How much did you make for all that work? What'd you make? I don't know, 40 divided by 12, 40. I mean 40. That's okay. Is it 40? Did you really net 40 your first year as a broker?
No, I don't think you would.
I don't think you did. I don't think you did.
No.
And you didn't see the sun,
No, I don't think
and
you would.
you're going crazy. Now, how are you going to? Let's go back to Shark Tank scaling it. How are you going to scale that? How are you going to go to 200 next year? You're like, well, you know what? 100 didn't do it. I got to get to 200. How are you going to get to 200? You're going to hire staff. One of the things I want, yeah, Ty got it. If you break even, you got a home run.
Very true.
What? By the way, John says you and Brian should go to the Supreme Court. Oh yeah, yeah. By the way, who has time to march all the time? What are they, dispatchers? Okay. Let's see. What I want to ask though is, Glam Fan, if you said you have family in the business, can you work for them? Right? We lost Sue. She's doing business.
Nope, I'm here.
Oh, I've heard from freight
Say that
agents
again.
claim they were making 100 grand a month. Yeah, let's go back to our gross versus net.
I've heard that same claim.
Okay, if you're grossing 100 grand, what's your net? It's down here. It's actually, I think my net is right down here. Okay.
Well, and the
Happy
big
trees,
brokers
happy
should be
trees.
grossing 100 grand a month. I mean, the big brokers, yeah, like
Okay,
Ready
well-
Auto, Cars Arrive,
Yeah. Well,
Montway, you know.
all right. And then that goes into
Metro.
but who are their customers? Are they buying
Right.
Are they buying used up leads? No.
I don't think so.
No.
No.
They are bringing donuts to dealerships and,
Yeah.
passing over Springsteen tickets and all this other stuff to get the business.
Yeah.
And they've got people on the phones promising this and promising that.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, it's a whole,
They've got a whole marketing
Think of the
scheme. That's what they're there for.
theatrics. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's intense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
I mean,
is
that's-
not just because you saw a video of an escalator and a Porsche on YouTube doesn't draw you a straight line to that.
No, unfortunately.
Okay. By the way,
Not a
Sue,
get rich scheme.
why
Let's put
didn't you
it
call
that
the
way.
phone number? Sue, just call the phone number.
I know. It's the
Jeez.
dispatcher's fault.
It was the dispatcher. Okay. I think I've almost got his voice down too. I do want to say this though. Here's what's cool, is that, by the way, if it looks like a dispatcher and smells like a dispatcher, it's a dispatcher. And dispatchers are back in the spotlight. This is neat. So they talked about how they did a 3-part interview on auto transport intel, and I welcome the debate anytime. And that ultimately that's going to be the take. Somebody's going to go run into somebody and say they were talking about you on YouTube and this and that. Okay, I welcome anybody to come on the program anytime and explain what they're doing or not. We'll have a softball conversation, we'll drink tea, and we'll laugh and whatever. That we can do that. So, because I don't know everybody's business model, we sure as heck do want to help. We want to help. Ultimately, that's what we want. Glam fan, we don't want to see you, crying on the back of a lift gate in 2 years because everything's gone. Okay. Crying on the back of a lift gate. I think we've got a show title. Let's see. We did that. Okay. Oh, we have Larry in 10 minutes. Okay. So you know what? I want to share this. Check this out. This is, you can see, this is an enclosed rollback. Check this out.
Whoa.
Right?
Wow.
I know. I could see
That's awesome.
I know. I could see dealer clients being like, yeah, dude, I want you to move all my stuff. He should work constantly. Amazing.
So this is probably like a local guy, right? He just picks them up, moves them from place to place.
Yeah, local, over the road. I mean, it's all what is local anymore. I mean, everything's kind of over the road and local, and home delivery and robots and overnight, and they put your socks on in the driveway. I mean, everything goes. But what's interesting is I think he used to have an open 2 to 3 car, and he worked hard enough, built up his business, and got this. It's just amazing. I find it so fascinating.
It is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. And so anything is possible. I mean, if you put your nose to the grindstone and you network like crazy and you bring the donuts, don't go buy it. Make the donuts. Well, I don't even know if you can. There's probably a lawsuit pending on that one, so don't do that. Don't make the donuts. I said not to. But no matter what, you're going to be networking like crazy. Make some phone calls, do lots of research, and do all that before you pay for any course. Before you spend any money. Don't send in all your money to Auto Transport Intel at P.O. Box. Okay, so the thing is, just research and talk to people. And as Ty would say, see if you can get some business. You can always say, the truck flipped over, I can't do it. But see if you can get some business. Maybe you're good at this. Maybe you know how to say the right things. Or maybe after you get 10 door slams, you'll be like, man, this is way harder than I thought.
It's 12 pages.
Sue's working.
Sorry.
No, I call out Sue when she's working. All right, we'll go to Larry in about, we'll still got 10 more minutes. Does anybody have a load they want to search? Oh, by the way, and let's do this. This was John's load. This was John's load last week. And let's see. Let's take a look at John's load. I think this is John's load this week. Right now, someone's like, yeah, and is there a question? No, I'm just sharing. Sometimes I just talk without.
Oh, so how long is John's trailer? Do you know?
He's in the live chat.
How long is your trailer?
Yeah, how long's your trailer, John? And that's
how
do you get loads? There you go. And that's the crux of the business. That's the whole thing. How do you get somebody to agree to let you arrange for the shipment of their freight? That's the whole thing. That's the kit and caboodle. How do you're standing at the front door with a vacuum cleaner. How do you get them to open the door and let you in and talk about it? How does a driver show up at a dealership? How does this guy show up at a dealership and say, you need me moving your cars? Right?
Yeah. I mean, how do they do it, you mean?
Yeah, how do
You
you
just
get
go.
Yeah, exactly. What? Wait a minute. You just go? You just do it?
You just go and do it.
You just do it. Wait, I didn't need to pay a bunch of people and sit in classrooms to just do it? Holy cats. Chapter 1.
Well, I'll tell you how he gets work. He shows up with that and shows them what he can do. That would be all anybody would need to see is that right there, right?
Well, how about this? If you're going to be a broker, do you know any carriers? Because if you do get business, how are you going to move it? Now what do you do? Let's say you get that lead. Okay, and now what are you going to do? Run the central dispatch? How's central dispatch, Sue? How easy is it?
It's fine.
Let's do that.
Oh, to sign up?
How about this?
Sign up for 4 weeks out, I guess.
Well, yeah, exactly. Then you got 4 weeks to get signed up because people are yelling through mail slots. Hey, Sue, will you share? You know, it's funny if this is your first time here, you've got to be thinking this show's too crazy to just watch. But if you've been watching for weeks, it feels like home, right? Hey, Sue, will you share your screen?
Yeah.
Because what I want to do, let's say you are a broker. Let's say you sign up.
Can't.
Oh, you can't?
You got to set me up.
What?
No, it says that you have to turn me back on.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, got you now.
Let's say you get signed up as a broker. I like to do these. I like theoretical scenarios. Unless it has to do with doing dishes or, something like that. But, let's say you get signed up and you get the customer. You get the lead. You paid for the course. You paid for the leads. You're totally out of money. You're on a lift gate. But you've got a customer. What are you going to do with them? Well, you're going to post it on Central, right? Isn't that what you do? Now what? What's it like to post a load on Central, Sue?
Well, I mean, that's the easy part is posting the load. It's making sure you pick the right transporter that isn't going to total your car or, that kind of thing. So there's a process. There's a process that I go through.
How do you, Sue? How do you learn this? How do you learn the process of who to hire and who not to hire? How do you do that? Don't you just go with the lowest bidder so you can keep the most money?
No.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't. Now there's other people that do out there, but I don't do that. I go to the FMCSA, you look them up, make sure they have insurance, make sure, safety records, that kind of thing. That's your best thing to do. You can look at the ratings on Central Dispatch. That also helps. But you can't just go completely based on that. I've got a whole bunch of transporters in my queue, shall we say, because I've been doing this for so long. But as somebody that's being new doing this, you're going to want to have a lot of boxes you want to check before you just say go do it. Because I don't know if people realize this, but say that transporter screws something up. They don't have to just go after that transporter. They can go after you as the broker as well. It may or may not work, but they can sue. So just keep that in mind. You want somebody that is reputable. They're not going to go out and probably post your load because that can happen too. I've had that happen. And you want to make sure they've got the correct amount of insurance. That, if you have a $150,000 car, obviously you don't want a transporter that only has $150,000 in cargo, because unless they're just carrying your car, guess what? You're not covered. They total that whole load. Your car is paid $150,000. They don't pay yours first. They divvy it out between all the cars. So they could go after the transporter. They could go after you, that kind of thing. So you have to be very careful with what you're doing in this industry. And you want to make sure that you cross all your T's and dot all your I's to make sure that you're not the one ending up getting sued later on in life because you gave it to some schmo out there that went and totaled your vehicle, or is a brand new transport, didn't know what he was doing, didn't write out a BOL, and literally didn't write any damage on it. And guess who? Then they have damage on it. You know what I mean? That happens all the time.
You just remind us that, by the way, Okay.
What?
Here's something that maybe no one talked about in the YouTube video is that the carrier, the that's the worker that actually moves the loads,
Mm,
now sees you as like wedging yourself into their money. Because just know this is that when by
yeah.
inserting yourself into the transaction, do
Mm-hmm.
you move the load? Nope. Like
Nope.
you're just another mouth to feed in the facilitation. Now there's
In the
logistics to
line of it.
handle, but in some
Yeah.
sense you're inserting yourself into a money vertical, and so you're going to be taking part
Mm-hmm.
of the money that was going to go to the carrier. My whole point is this is how the carriers see you as the enemy,
Yep. You're
and
taking my
that's
money.
not a great way to start a business. But that's not in the. I'm sorry, that's not in the YouTube video. Cancel what I just said. Didn't happen. Since we're all so cheery, this is a perfect time to go into Are Your Cars Should Be Good. Somebody's like, is this a holiday show? Man, what is up with this show? Holy cow, these guys are bringing me down. But they're telling me the most truth I've ever gotten, so I'm really conflicted. Okay, let's do Are You a Car Shipping Guru with Ask Larry. What we do is we do 5 questions. Because you see the time. It's 1 o'clock Central on Thursday. On Tuesday nights, at about 8:30 on Tuesday Nights Live, we do 5 questions. Well, we're going to repeat those 5 questions. I've got my answers right here. And no changing answers if you tuned in Tuesday night. Oh, cancel culture? Yeah, it's called dispatching. Okay, so we got 5 questions. Here we go. Question number 1.
Awesome.
The following statement best represents which organization? To serve and represent the franchised new car and truck dealers of America, their management and employees. Is it C, AAA, NADA, BBB, or IARA? Which association is it? And if you're not interested at all, just stay with us. You might learn something. You might have some fun. You know, you're heating up a burrito anyways. What else are you gonna do? Okay. Which one is it?
Right. What do you have like?
Well, I don't know. I'm assuming NADA, but I don't know.
That's what you should go with then. Right?
Yeah.
AAA. What's AAA do? AAA is who you call if you have car problems, right? So their statement would be like,
and Better Business Bureau
to serve and represent people with car problems. That would be AAA. Better Business Bureau, to serve and represent people that, hate companies. Or no, have problems. I'm sorry. Come on, Jay. To serve and represent people that are having issues with
IARA is.
IARA that has to do with auctions and standards.
Yeah.
So your answer is, it's gotta be in it. If I'm wrong, I'm really gonna be angry. Okay. That's 1. See, and you just learned something.
Yeah.
And you can actually go to nada.org to learn more about it. Okay. Here we go. Question 2. What is the most appropriate carrier pay amount to ship a 2019 Honda Civic from Southport, North Carolina to Westport, Washington?
Oh.
In fact,
Wow.
here's another one. If you're going to be a broker, you're going to have to be able to gauge when people contact you and they want a rate. Man, you got to tell them you do not have time. There ain't no time. You can't say, let me call you back. Let me check with the driver. No, they're gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I
wish we knew how many miles it was.
I know. It's got to be. It's at least 1,000, even though it's a Honda Civic.
I'm thinking the 1395 to 1655, but I don't know
I know.
where those places are. Westport, Washington could be like
over
across the island for all I know. You
exactly.
know what I mean?
And through the woods.
Yeah.
I put 1395, but I could see it being 1655. And there are
I knew how many miles it
Glam
was.
fan. There are softwares to help you. Like there's software to help you give an instant quote in the middle of the night. You know, so you're not like sitting at your computer with a flashlight. You know, there are technologies, but all those things will cost money and eat into your net. Okay.
I honestly think it might be the 1655.
I agree. I like
It's got to be at
1650.
least 2,500 to 30,000 miles.
I said 1395 just because I'm not a big believer in the rates. Let's see what we got.
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys got it.
That's right.
Wow.
2.
Soft applause for that. Once again, Jay is out. I never win this game. Question 3. What
spinning.
was the best-selling car in 1973? Honda Accord, Porsche 911, Chevy Monte Carlo, Toyota Camry.
Didn't we do something like this a couple of weeks ago?
Well, it seems like every few weeks we have one where Honda Accord is one of the choices. But
Yeah.
it's 1973, right? That's your cue.
It's not going to be the Porsche, but
No, it's not going to be the Porsche. It can't. I mean, that'd be crazy.
it's got to be one of those 3. But I'm not sure about
I
the
think.
Monte
I think.
Carlo.
I tell you what. In Saudi Arabia in 1970. Okay. Porsche, right? I mean, man, they have money over. Have you seen the pictures of like the OE or the AE or? Okay. Getting real off track here. All right. What's your guess? What are you thinking? Anybody in the live chat other than Glam Fan?
I'm gonna go with the
Glam Fan,
Honda.
what do you think? Is it the Porsche? Oh, Chevrolet. Yeah. Monte Carlo. Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. I'm going Monte Carlo on
Is it
this.
Monte Carlo?
Everyone's going Monte Carlo. Are you ready? Here we go.
Okay.
Yes.
Holy crap. They're driving those boats that many?
Everybody's got Monte Carlo. That's so awesome. Yeah, it was the 70s, man. Isn't it so funny? And as we look back, man, like, oh, the 70s. I mean, you could have like martinis at lunch. You know. Oh my
in your
God.
car. In your huge boat of Monte Carlo.
Now you can't drink anytime. Or no. I don't know.
No, you're right.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Question number 4. What is the most appropriate carrier pay amount to ship a 2018 Audi A5 Coupe from Westlake, Oregon to Chicago, Illinois? 1050, 1265, 1495, 1690. By the way, if you're tuning in on the podcast, thank you so much. And if you're not, here's the link in the live chat. Get the podcast. You got to do something while you're driving.
I'm going with the 1495.
1495. I got 1495 as well. Do I hear 1495, 1450, 55, 1561, 1690 going once, going twice. By the way, don't get it wrong. Larry the Llama, you see the dude in the hat? Pro ABD's your CRM. That's Superflow Systems. Larry knows his stuff. You need instant accurate quotes in the middle of the night? Transport Auto Quoter. Or, hey Alexa, open Quotify. Don't forget to enable the Quotify skill. And, is that enough? Too much? 1265. Wow. I don't think anybody had 1265. That's what I said about confidence in the rates, right? Nobody had 1265. I mean, nobody had it. And that's what it will take to get it moved. An Audi A5, by the way, Audi A5, that's what's the retail value on an Audi A5? That's not an Accord, is it? Retail value Audi A5. Oh, okay. Oh, I guess it's not as much as I thought. 40,000 plus. All right. All right. Well, you win some and you lose some. It was the dispatcher. Okay, here we go.
Always.
Question 5. It always is. Blank supports the automotive community through its educational platforms that foster professional growth, networking, and meaningful connections. Is it the NADA digital dealer, BBB, or AAA? Okay, again, AAA helps you if you have car trouble. BBB helps you if you have company trouble. NADA helps you if dealers and used and new and whatnot. So
Yeah,
it's got to be probably process of elimination. Really? Is it this hard? Just kidding. Just kidding. It's digital. It's got to be digital dealer. Yay! See, what we did was, not that already. What? Wait, you have trouble with your buttons there? Okay.
Process of elimination.
We did Tuesday night. We did a show about trade shows, and so these questions are to help get to know trade shows better. And the thing is, in auto transport, we don't talk about NADA or digital dealer. We don't talk about this stuff. So the goal of these answers was to try to help. And if you missed the show Tuesday night, because if you've just now realized you can't get enough of the craziness, then tune in for, let's see, automotive trade shows, and I put the link in the live chat. It's all there, man. You'll find Tuesday nights different from Dispatching Live. Actually, I think all 4 shows are a little bit different takes. Now, here's what time it is. You know what time it is? Okay. This is the Mug-O problems. These are actual problems of an actual dispatcher. One of which is actual pickup and actual delivery and all the champagne that goes along with it. Not for the dispatcher, though. So these are actual problems. Oh, here we go. New problem. And it's on here. It's actually on here. I'm not just making it up. All right. The problem is, I'm not your claim for damages legal team, so quit destroying the cars you load.
Okay.
I mean, have you ever worked for a carrier that is always damaging something?
Yes.
Right? I have. I'm like, dude, just load it and deliver it. I don't have time for all this, man. I make no money if you're smashing up vehicles.
Nope.
In fact, there's your dispatcher spam. Do you smash up cars when you pick up and deliver? Text me. I want to be your dispatcher. All right, so go ahead and share the screen. We got 15 more minutes. If anybody has anything, I could use the help. Clearly. Hey, I've got something. Here's something.
Okay.
There's always something, isn't there, man? There's always something to go through. What? You got something here. Let me move that. And then don't forget to jump in the live chat. All right, so Sue, what did you find here?
Oh, so someone had asked me what you could do as overhang in each state. So I went online and found this huge long thing that tells you every state what you can be as far as width, length, overhang. Is actually quite interesting, and I passed it on to all my dispatchers so that they knew.
Wow.
Because as we all know, you can't be over length in Missouri. So this tells you if there's any other issues that you need to worry about.
when you look at Missouri, it just says don't.
Don't do it. Big thing is don't do it.
I mean, this alone, see, that's the thing, and that's what you don't see in the fancy YouTube videos, is all the stuff that should freak you out. Like, just overlength is different in every state? That's ridiculous.
Not like
I can have them give you a
I mean,
call right
you know,
before
I'm not going to get in an argument with a DOT officer about it, but that is insane, isn't it? There's some similarities. Yeah. Okay, so like Indiana and Iowa are pretty, I mean, that's pretty similar. So there's some standards, but then there's some nuances. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a little different things on each one of them. Yeah.
How do you get a copy of this? Do you know?
Huh?
Do you know how to get a copy of this?
I just Googled it and I saved it to my computer. I mean,
What do
did
you
I
think
give
you
you
looked
that?
up? Legal
I think I
limits.
put legal length limits for each state is what. Let me try it.
Legal length limits.
Legal limits for each state.
What about auto transport?
I get
Legal
alcohol. Yep, I knew it.
limits
I
per
should-
state.
Let's put trailer in here because it brought me up alcohol limits for each place.
Do not just Google legal length limits. Okay, it's not safe for work.
All right.
Okay.
Here it is. It comes up. This is what it's called. It's nationwide express services.weebly.com. And it's 12 pages long. How do I send this to you so you can just have it here? Let me see.
Man, there's a lot of sheesh. There's all kinds of stuff. I don't even know where to. Like, here's a compilation of states. Oh, here we go. Here's an interesting one. Here, I'm gonna put this in the live chat.
Okay.
So this is compilation of states. Compilation of states. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Click on it. Do what you will. It looks like you can click on different states. But I don't even know. This isn't even auto transport. I don't know what it is. But I guess I would say this: if you're looking for a copy of this, email Sue. There you go. How about that?
Yeah.
Can you do that?
I can send you a copy.
Yeah. Let's see. Sue's website.
Or I can tell you where to go get it, you know.
Right. MurphyAutoTransportServices.com. And if you want to email Sue, here's the email address. Perfect. But this is really fascinating stuff. And I try to keep copies in a folder of dispatching. What I did is I created a folder called You're Illegal, and I put all the dispatching stuff in that. Okay.
Check that was sent. What was going on?
Man, it just keeps on going. Oh, there it is. Okay. Good stuff. All right, we got 10 minutes ish left. Sue, what else is on our plate that we didn't cover?
I don't know. What else did I tell you this week? The one that really got me going was the one we talked about in the beginning.
Well, let's hit that again. I mean, because here's what we see. Here's what we're seeing. We're seeing. Let's look at the marketplace as we see it. A lot of people are getting into dispatching. A lot of people are getting into being a carrier. A lot of people are getting into being brokers.
Yeah.
I mean, it would seem like the business is up, but then what we find out is that it's just this total wrestling ring of you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, pretty much. And I do you think the reason why we're seeing I know part of it is our show and partly the videos on YouTube and stuff like that. But I also think that part of it is people are sitting at home and they're still working from home. So they're looking for jobs they can work from home from.
Yes. Okay.
That's probably a big part of it. The transporter part, getting out there doing it. That may be coming because they hear there's a shortage of drivers.
Totally.
You hear that everywhere, right?
Totally.
So that might be why the transporters are coming in, but they're also not probably doing their, shall we say, their background work on what you're going to make, what you're going to need, how much money you're going to need to get going, that kind of thing, because that happens all the time. That happens in all businesses, so I can't even blame it just because the transporters are doing it. I mean, people get in businesses every day of the week and don't know what they're doing. So, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, it's like restaurants. I always like to look at the restaurant business.
Yeah.
People will set up restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. I love
not
baking.
even know how to cook. Yeah.
Right. I love to.
Yes.
I like to eat. Therefore,
don't know how to figure out a cost. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they go out of business. I mean, you have to know your cost of every piece of food you put out there so you know what to charge. So it's kind of the same thing with being a transporter. You need to know exactly what you need to make per mile to keep yourself in business. And not just your basic. You need to put so much away for, if you have breakdowns and maintenance and stuff like that. A lot of people forget about that stuff. They just
I'm
see the
gonna-
people rolling around in the money and think, hey.
I know. Well, you know, and I tell you, we know what we don't do is we never show YouTube videos. I think here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go. Let's see. Start. What about Hotshot trucking? Because it seems to
Yeah.
be kind of. I mean, there are a lot of videos. Wow. There's a
Yes,
lot of
there is.
Hotshot. And there's this one called Hotshot YouTubers Are Full of S. That is so interesting.
Really?
Yeah. Make money
Is it somebody
Hotshot.
we know?
No, I don't know. Well,
Oh.
that when you go into the Hotshot realm, oh man, that is highly competitive. It is okay. Just right there, I'm looking at 6,000 a week Hotshot trucking. 6,000 a week Hotshot trucking. That is that's probably similar to escalators and Porsches to be an auto transport broker, right? You see that? That's all I needed to know. Honey, we're starting a trucking business.
Let's go.
This guy's got 23,000 a month with a pickup truck. 23,000 plus a month with a pickup truck. Sue, what do you think of that?
Are you saying he's a 3-car?
This is the problem. Ah, okay,
Yeah,
good.
we don't know.
First problem. He's not telling you what he's hauling.
Right.
So
That's a big difference.
you see that
Yeah.
headline and you get into auto transport, dude. Okay, what is he hauling?
Yeah. I mean, my
don't
3
know.
cars make that kind of money, but that's not the average. You know what I mean?
Well, you should start
And they're
making
working
videos.
Monday through Saturday. Yeah.
You need a video
Yes,
called
can
"My
I?
3 Cars Make." Why wouldn't you make that video though? Why not? What's the responsible side of saying what your 3
Because
cars make?
that's not it's not the norm, and I'm not out to shyster anybody either. I mean, you got to work for that. It doesn't just come handed over and there it is at your lap. These guys work their butts off to make that kind of money, and we work our butts off to make them that kind of money too. So, I mean, I don't get those videos either. I mean, I actually had one driver that had signed up with me. It's been a couple years ago, and he put on YouTube a video of him rolling around in money, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You know, because I knew what he was making. He wasn't making that kind of money, so why
Here's
would
one.
you do that?
Here's one. Car haulers make $20,000 gross a month trucking. What's interesting is, in an attempt to keep it real, he said the magic word gross.
Gross.
Car haulers make
Yeah.
20,000 gross a month trucking.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What's your net? What's
Right
your net?
there, you go.
1,000? No, it's not. But what is your net?
You know what? One of my
Let's-
drivers.
what is your net on
One of my drivers
Yeah.
tells me this is how he figures out what his net is. He's a 3-car, so he always says his 3rd car is his net every time on every run. That's what he ends up making. So
Okay,
however
so
you want to take that.
cool, perfect. So we'll take 2/3 as cost.
Right.
Let's get
Yep.
so that we're all on the same page and we're checking my math. Let's check Jay's math. 20,000 a month. And then we're gonna keep 1/3, which is 0.33. That's 6,600. Is that what you got? 6,000. That's your net.
Right.
Now go make a video called $6,000 net car hauling per month, and watch your views. Which video is gonna have more views? Because what are you gonna do with
The
6,000 net?
20,000.
All right, let's talk about 6,000 net. Let's see here. All right, so we got the house and the what? Got the gas and the water and the house. All right, we're definitely down. That was easily $1,000. And then you've got, I'm sure that there's other stuff. Let's just stuff. All right, so now we're down to 4. And then what? We gotta put some money aside for the business. Let's get rid of another one. All right, now we're down to 3. We have $3,000 left for the month. What are we doing with that? What's that? Okay, so maybe you were able to make. And I know that this is America, so you got whacked for other stuff. Maybe you've got 2. Maybe you're saving. Oh, that's 1. Maybe you're saving $2,000 a month, and you are working your tail off. You're rarely home. This and that. Anybody making that YouTube video? Work
No.
your tail off to save $2,000 a month. By the way, the clearinghouse is constantly checking your pee and your poo and your saliva and your breath. And I mean, all right. Yeah, man, that sounds amazing. Sign me up.
Okay. All right, that's all I need to know.
This is what I like to say. How we doing?
No.
She will get right million calls an hour. Split pie in 3 or 4 slices, depending on if your truck is paid for. Well, hey, it's good ones, Candy. Because now I'm the Grinch on this episode. If you're an owner and you're paying a driver,
Yeah, then it's even less.
it's even less. Yeah, you might, as the owner, you could be close to breaking even. Oh, this is terrible news, Sue. We need to search for those gold bars. Anybody have it? Have you noticed we don't search for loads hardly anymore?
I know it's
Why
very
is that?
few and far between. I think it's partly because there's so many loads on the board is part of it, but I'm gonna call Brittany.
Just tell him to call Brent.
Yeah, call Brittany. Let's see. I think so. How about this? Let's try to end on a positive note. Let's say you still want to be a broker. What is another thing you could do to verify that's a good idea? What could you do?
Sorry, say that again.
Let's say you're still like, you know what, being a broker could be a good idea. How could you verify that idea? What could you do? What do you do?
I don't think being a broker is a good idea, so
You don't.
I don't. I really don't. I think there's too much competition out there, and I think you're gonna have to spend too much money to get to where you're actually making money. And how long do you have to do that before you're actually really making money? So you better have deep pockets, is what I think. Unless you're just a salesman like no other. Because I mean that's part of it too. You got to be able to sell. I mean, if you're out there selling timeshares, stick with that. Because you're gonna probably make more money doing that than being a broker. I mean, honestly. So that's why I always say I don't want to tell people that dispatching is easier, because it's not. But there's less money involved starting a dispatch from your home than there is being a broker from your home. As far as overhead and making money right away, you can make money right away being a dispatcher, good, bad, or not. But a broker, you're going to be sitting on that before you see money going into your bank account.
Well,
while.
I agree with you on the dispatch. The thing is, to me, dispatching is a service that
Right.
people are looking for, and that, I mean, because carriers have so much on their plate.
Right.
I mean,
Right. Absolutely.
right. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
whereas brokers, I don't know if the industry needs more brokers. Does it?
No, I think they don't either. I mean,
Yeah, I don't. There's no need there. That's it. That's the problem. The industry doesn't need more brokers.
Right.
You're just getting into a market. It's kind of like real estate agents. Does our world need more real estate agents?
Probably not.
I don't think so. Does the world need more travel agents?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't even think they use them anymore. Is there such a thing anymore?
I don't know. I don't even
You
know.
do everything for yourself anymore.
I don't know. But see, nobody talks like this, because if you talk like this, you're like a downer or something. But what does the world need more of?
Realist.
Also, well, there's also things that we want to do. I mean, does the world need more YouTubers sitting in referee shirts getting negative? Probably not. Probably not.
But it's fun.
Oh, well, it is. It is fun. But you got to be ready for, I mean, it sure ain't lucrative. After this, I shut off the lights, I get in a cab, and I hope that they take me somewhere nice. But ultimately, going back to, I mean, that is, and how about the carriers? Does the world need more carriers? This one is the hardest one. Because everybody, if you go to any port where there's crane operators at lunch and, playing games, you think, well, we need more drivers. But that is also, I mean, does the world need more carriers? I don't know the answer to that. I honestly don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I really don't. But I do know this is that car hauling companies do need more great drivers. They do.
True.
That one I'm sure of.
Yeah.
The problem is because of this, the clearinghouse and the ELD and all this other stuff, people don't want to become professional CDL holders. That is not. There's not a. You can get right to the front of the line on this thing, from what I've seen. I could be wrong on that. Send me the news. Let me know. Speculation Live. It is 1:30, and it is probably time to hang it up for the day. I think we covered everything. It was cool that Brian got to join in. I like that we talked about brokering so much. I also appreciate, we appreciate everybody jumping in the live chat, asking questions, participating. It just seems like there's so much. This is still, it's 2021, and this is the wild freaking West.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
I agree.
But also job security, because, there's no way we could do a 90-minute show if everything was figured out.
True.
That'd be impossible. Although we might try to find a way. We'll see. Stick around, because I think by 2026, all viruses will be gone. All loads will be perfect. All phone numbers will be correct. Customers won't be unrealistic anymore. It's going to be incredible. There's going to be nothing to
They'll
talk
answer
about.
the phones.
Oh my God. Everybody will answer the phone. Yeah. And there'll be money everywhere. And yeah, it's going to be insane.
Don't we all wish?
Oh man, I think we do. But I know we got to let the people go, so got to let everybody get back to their Christmas shopping and the Yuletide. Still don't know what that is. Okay, well placed commentary, of course. Sue, thank you so much for your participation today. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks for taking the time.
No problem.
And the whole office there at Murphy Auto Transport Services, thank you all so much for participating in the background.
No problem.
We're there for you, Jay.
Yeah. All right. How do we always end another great show?
Goodbye, Sue.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Please join us tomorrow on Cars on the Move. Send in the news. Let us know we can help. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Peace, everybody.